around 2004, my brother was invited to go on canoe journey with a family, and so they came back with all this good stuff about how wonderful it was. And so in 2005, they approached our tribal council and they got us a canoe, and then we took it on canoe journey, and we're out on the bay there in Puget Sound, and then we pull up to, it was Suquamish we pulled up to, and here's the whole beach is moving, and we look back and there was like 100 and some canoes with us at the same time as we're traveling, and this glow, this feeling of we're here, we're somebody. You're waking up something inside that's been asleep for a while. This was our transportation. Your everyday life was in a canoe if you're by a waterway, like the Columbia River or even the Willamette. This little bit of what I've taken away in my lifetime, hopefully my kids will be able to pick it up. That's all you can pray for, is that they pick it up and take it further than you did. I want to make them so good, and the people that take care of them will love them and take care of them too, because like I said, they're a piece of they're like your family once you have them. I learned how to make paddles. Canoes came after I made the paddles.
Each canoe takes roughly about 400 hours to make.
Most of my paddles here that I've made are out of Port Orford cedar. I found out that's a really strong, durable wood, and you could carve them wicked thin, and they'll hold up to just about anything. Right now I'm putting this spine down the center of my paddles. It's even though this shape of paddle didn't have a spine down it, it didn't have, traditionally this would just been flat, but because I like the Tillamook style paddle and because of how it performs, putting that spine down it is like putting a spine down your back. You know, it's strong. The stronger the spine, the stronger your paddle. And so I've managed to, so learning that and knowing that spine helps it to be strong, then I could make the rest of the paddle really light. So then I could use what the Tillamook style paddle had, and then make all my other paddles light. So most of my paddles now, I put a spine down them, and so that's why I'll put this line down the center of them. I have this blade about as thin as I want to take it for now until I finish putting my spine down it, and then once I get my spine down it, what I'll do is, so just to perfect it a little more, I'll come in here. Try not to take away from that line. Some people have asked me to sit here and texture it and make all these marks down it like this. And they look like raindrops. And they have a different texture on it. And I've done that during the whole paddle. It's fun, it's just,
Takes some work.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of time. When you hold up the paddle that you've handmade, and other people really appreciate it when they paddle. When they've paddled with other paddles before, like I've had people get in my canoe and paddle with some of my paddles that I've made. They're like, man, why is your paddle so light? Oh, I love this thing, you know. And they'll feel. And then the kids, we went down to canoe races, and the kids won the canoe race, and they said it was because of the paddles. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. That's a good time. You give them a good paddle, and then that gives them a good feeling, and then they put their heart into it, put their back into it. They won that race because they won that race, but it does help to have a good paddle. Learning how to read the wood, knowing where the wood's from, knowing the shape, what it's supposed to be like, what it's supposed to perform like, because that paddle and that relationship that the paddle has with the water and the canoe all coming together. So these paddles that are all you can see all the wear on these ones are ones that I've made over the handful of years and took on canoe journey. Depending on where you set in the canoe, different lengths of them. You could see the different styles being. This one's a Tillamook style. You can see the point is a little different from that one. Well, this one's a little cleaner. You could see this one's a little more rounded off, going by that's like more of the bay by the lower Umpqua, and then like Reedsport area, somewhere in there, all the way to Coos Bay, down in the bays there. And then this one being our Tillamook style paddle, straight from Tillamook. Haven't seen it nowhere else. This is kind of what my paddle blanks will look like after I cut them out in the shape. They're really thick. They're basically like a 2x6. And if you could find the grain, the orientation of the grain going just right, where it's going all straight down from one end to the other so they don't break, that's what you want for the strongest paddle. Is you don't want no crookedness in this area right here by your handle. Pretty much you just want straight grain all the way, and that way it will be super wicked strong. The shape of like this style paddle, I will come in here with this knife, and all of these paddles right here that I'm making will be taken down. Will be taken down to a point on the inside here. This one's already started being taken down. But they'll be taken down to a point, and so these ones, I know a little more about this particular paddle because this is more of where my family comes from, and where these canoe shapes come from. And you could pop the wapato, you can cut cattail with them, just a little bit. You can catch the roots on the side of the river. You can catch the like from the cottonwoods, what grow out on the river, so you can stop yourself and hold yourself off. All of our old paddles, and they were a traditional shape, I guess. All of them are made out of ash. There's a couple that are the Western red cedar, some of our old ones. I just happened to, when I was getting taught how to make paddles, Port Orford cedar was brought up, and I think we even had a couple boards that were Port Orford cedar, and just carving them, and they're wicked light. And when you're on the water for 7 or 8 hours, sometimes 9 hours paddling and making this motion, even the lightest thing is going to be heavy. So if you can make your paddle the lightest you can, and it still be wicked strong, which the Port Orford cedar has been just that. I could still get a good flex. I could still get a good flex out of the blade. So you're supposed to be able to flex the blade like that. You can see it flexing a little bit. That's so when you dig really hard, it kind of gives you a little flang, or whatever you want to call that. But you should still be able to get some flex out of it. And with this spine going down it, that makes it wicked strong. It's like putting a piece of rebar in it. It's really meditating too when you're just grab a paddle and you start working on one. Every paddle, it's like the canoes too. You put that love in it. That's Grandma's special recipe. You can have that's the one ingredient, I should say, Grandma's secret ingredient to anything she makes, is that love that she has for you.